please the panelists come up, which is the chair, Chowdhury Abrar, Professor of International Relations, University of Dhaka, Bangladesh, and Roy San Lwin, renowned citizen journalist and editor of the Rohingya blogger, Sultana Razi, Rohingya lawyer, teacher, and researcher from Chittagong, Bangladesh, and Kyaw is Rohingya medical doctor and chair of the European Rohingya Council from the Netherlands. And last but not least, Tun Khin, which is he there also? Is a Rohingya engineer and president of Burmese Rohingya organization in UK. And yeah, thank you for being here with us, and the floor is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege to sit here today in this panel to moderate this session. I realize that we have really fallen back in terms of time, so I'm not going to speak a word. As the session has been titled, Rohingyas Speak for Themselves, the bios of each and every individual is there in this booklet. So I would urge you to go through that instead of me spending time on that. First, I would like to call upon renowned citizen journalist and editor of Rohingya blogger, San Lwin, to make his presentation. Yeah. Sorry.
So, thank you. Dignitary, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak to you here today. I am San Lwin. For many years now, I have worked to highlight the situation in Arakan State, Myanmar, where I am from, and the genocide against the Rohingya. As my parents were a civil servant, I had to move with them to the former capital Rangoon at a young age. My school life started there. From the first day there, I felt discrimination from my fellow classmates just because of my physical appearance not being like them. I had suffered with the racial slur, Kala, until I left Burma in 2001. Today on social media, the same racial slur is used against me and Muslim by most Burmese Buddhists. At the time when I lived in Rangoon, all of my relatives, mostly working for government offices and other Rohingya living in Arakan State, could move freely and they could visit wherever they wanted. Now and since 1992, these same people have all been living in an open-air prison. My father could not even go and see his parents when my grandparents passed away. As there were no landline phone available, we had no way to be informed on what was going on. The Rohingya community in Arakan State became completely isolated from other parts of Burma. In 2012, suddenly a violence against Rohingya broke up, which was widely labeled as a sectarian violence, but in reality, it was one-sided. As a result, more than 150,000 Rohingya still are living in the concentration camp in Sittwe and in Samtam in southern part of Arakan State. Since then, we have built up an activist network across the Arakan State and have gathered a great deal of evidence which collectively amount to show genocide has occurred against the Rohingya. My colleague based inside Arakan State have done several difficult and high-risk jobs inside the country to demonstrate the severity of crimes committed by the security force. For this, our work has been publicly attacked by Burmese government and military. Even the official Facebook page of Myanmar President Office has attempted to discredit and attack us. They all claim our evidence and reporting was fake news and the rape committed against Rohingya women and girls were fake rapes. They make no effort to discredit the information we represented or address the issue we raised, but rather they try to simply dismiss us and offer blanket denial of their genocidal crime. As many of you are aware, since August of last year, the situation worsened rapidly with a genocidal campaign by the military. The campaign has included the murder of women and children, burning people alive, gang rape, mass execution, and massive destruction of Rohingya-owned property, and the forced exodus of over half of the Rohingya population living in Arakan State. For years, we have described the reality of the situation and said it was genocide. For years, we have warned that inaction by the wall to protect the human rights of the Rohingya would lead to worse and worse tragedy. It appears now the wall has proven to be too late. While the wall is waking up to the situation that Rohingya currently face, most are unaware of how old the persecution against them is. Since the early 1970s, the government and the military have moved against the Rohingya specifically, both through the legislative and the military campaign. These efforts have sought to erase the Rohingya physically and historically from Myanmar. Since 1974, our documents have been destroyed in an effort to destroy our tie to the land. The different forms of identification we kept were taken by security forces as checkpoint, burned with our home, and confiscated and replaced with other documents which imply lower and lower tier of citizenship or affiliation with the country. Now the only document Rohingya are permitted to obtain are called National Verification Card, in which we are not allowed to self-identify as Rohingya. Our indigenous history is intentionally denied. Not long ago in history, the Rohingya had a strong relationship with the National League for Democracy, which is the ruling party today and is led by the one-time icon for democracy and freedom, the Aung San Suu Kyi. The party was formed in 1988 and thousands of Rohingya were members. Our ethnic name, Rohingya, was officially recognized on their membership card. 4 Rohingya parliamentary candidates represented the NLD in the 1990 election. Sadly now, Aung San Suu Kyi denied the history of the Rohingya and acted as if she has never met or known a Rohingya before. On September 19 of last year, the State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi has said, so-called clearance operation, which actually a massive massacre had stopped on September 5th, but there is much evidence mounting. The military, Boragat police, and Rakhine vigilante have set fire to Rohingya homes in hundreds of villages. Up to now, Reuters and the Associated Press exposed a total of 6 mass graves, but according to our research, there are many. Thousands of Rohingya were mercilessly killed and buried in many mass graves. In my work, documenting the human rights violation and genocidal campaign against the Rohingya, I have not seen one day where Rohingya have not been harmed through the San Lwin, whether through extortion, torture, rape, or arbitrary arrest. The security force operate with impunity, whether or not they claim a conflict is occurring. And the civilians are always those they target first. Almost 700,000 Rohingya survivors have fled to Bangladesh since August of last year, and those living in the refugee camp now are scared, traumatized. They have reasonable fear that they will only be attacked and displaced again if they are to be returned. They fear returning to a country that refuses to grant them even the most basic human right and prevent them from the most basic necessity like food and medicine. They dread the idea of returning to a country that doesn't want them, deny them education, rob their business, steal their land, and commit violence against them with impunity. They worry about being returned to a land where their citizenship and human rights are decided by bigot, angry mob, cold Islamophobic politician, and murderous general. This is their fate, which is decided in the agreement signed by Myanmar and Bangladesh on November 23, 2017. The voice of Rohingya survivors need to be heard, and international community must take every step to support them for protect return to protect homeland in Myanmar. Otherwise, the violation will continue, conflicts will resume. The Rohingya will be forced to suffer further, and ultimately Bangladesh again will be the only safety that they can flee to. People are still fleeing daily from the horror that they are enduring in Arakan. How could they be asked to return while the genocide is continue? In closing, I have been working for over 16 years on this issue, and having connected with grassroots level, today I am here to plead on behalf of my fellow Rohingya who are in the camp in Bangladesh, those who are living in open-air prison in northern Arakan state, and those who are living in concentration camp in central and southern part of Arakan state. Please do not send the people back to killing field where where genocide is going on. Please help us get back our land where we can live peacefully and build our life and what we can call it our home. We want to live peacefully in a protected homeland in Myanmar so that we can live as dignified people. Please support to end this genocide. Thank you.
Thank you, San Lwin, for this powerful statement. Now I invite, yes, please. I think we go through this and then perhaps, is that how we planned it, Zani?
Yeah, Q&A. Wait until the question answer time, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, after the panel is spoken. Now I invite Razi Sultana, a researcher and a lawyer based in Chittagong, Bangladesh, to present her case. Yes, please. How do you pronounce your name?
Thank you very much for inviting me to speak today on behalf of my people who have been driven from our motherland. All over the world, people call their country their motherland because they value and love their land like their mother. Yet, in our Rohingya land, mother, sister, and daughter have been violated and killed by the Myanmar army for no other reason than for being Rohingya. This is what I will speak about today, how the Myanmar army is systematically using rape as a weapon against Rohingya to destroy us and driving us from our land. I first help Kaladan Press Network document a rape case after the Myanmar army clearance operation in northern Mongdo in October 2016. We interviewed 21 women refugees from 9 villages who had fled to Bangladesh. 15 women from 8 villages had witnessed or experienced rape. They gave evidence that at least 70 women and girls had been raped by Myanmar security force in their villages. The pattern we found were that the cases were mostly gang rape. Girls as young as 10 years old were raped. Some rape victims were killed and mutilated. Women were groped and forced to strip during searches. But the government's Rakhine Investigation Committee found no evidence of military abuses during the 2016 operation. This gave the green light for the army to commit even larger scale atrocity in 2017. Starting in July 2017, thousands of soldiers, not only from the army but also Navy, were deployed to northern Rakhine state. They were in place to start widespread attacks against civilians on August 25. The alleged attack by ARSA on police post were just a pretext for an operation which was clearly pre-planned. I began interviewing new refugees in September 2017 and soon saw the same pattern of sexual violence as in 2016. So together with Kaladan Press, we decided to produce a new report, Rape by Command. It's based on interview with 36 refugees, including 8 rape survivors. The sexual violence was over. 300 women and girls were raped in or near 70 villages, as well as in Mongdo town. The soldiers committed rape at every stage of clear operation. Before August 25, the soldier had ordered all fences around houses to be torn down. Men would run away when the soldier patrolled, leaving women alone and vulnerable to rape. In the weeks before August 25, in 2 villages in northern Butidong alone, 6 women and 1 6-year-old girl were gang raped. The young girl died of her injuries. But most of the rapes happened when the Myanmar army attacked villages starting on August 25. When the troops entered the village shooting and killing civilians, they also raped women and girls. They raped them in their houses when they were running away or after gathering them in the large groups. In the village of Tulatuli, northern Mongdo, August 30, over 100 women were gang raped. Now I mentioned the one raped woman who is from Tulatuli. After her baby had been snatched from her arms and killed, she was forced to stand in a pound with hundreds of other women. Soldiers took them away, group by group, to be gang raped, tortured, and killed. She said, a group of soldiers came and forced us into a house. First, they raped my unmarried sister and mother-in-law in front of us. I saw my sister screaming and crying. Then I didn't hear any sound. They had killed her. Then they held me and my other sister, who was 8 months pregnant. They did what they want with us. We both were screaming and struggling. They hit us with a steel baton. I fell unconscious. When I became conscious, the house was burning. The way this gang rape was carried out by hundreds of troops over a period of hours indicates rape was actually ordered as part of the attack on Tulatuli. I also interviewed women who had been raped in the town of Mongdo when it was in security lockdown by hundreds of soldiers after August 25. Women were raped in their houses and also in a temporary military camp in Ward 5. A headman in Ward 5 was ordered to provide women for the troops. Many women were also raped when they were trying to flee across the Meu mountain of the Bangladesh border. They were raped in groups, in the open, and also in military camps near 2 passes pass. It is very clear from the evidence in our report that the Myanmar army is using sexual violence systematically as a weapon against the Rohingya. The rape are not just acts of individual soldiers. Rape was committed on a widespread scale by hundreds of troops across villages in Mongdo and northern Butidong. Women were detained in military camps for rape, which must have been authorized by the camp commanders. Most of the cases were gang rape, often in front of other troops or villagers, meaning the soldier had no fear of witness because they were completely confident of impunity. Rape victims included very young girls. Many rape victims were tortured, mutilated, and killed. This shows the rape was not about individual soldiers wanting sexual enjoyment. They are authorized to rape in order to torture, harm, and kill Rohingya women. The mutilation and private parts seems deliberately aimed to destroy the very means of reproduction of Rohingya. And this is my urge to international community to use every means, including diplomatic and economic sanction to pressure the Myanmar government and to hold military commander and who are responsible or behind the scenes must bring in ICC trial because the military is not doing their own. They did it by the command. And I said, the way they are doing this is a genocide. This is not a ethnic cleansing. You cannot say this is ethnic cleansing and ignore the genocide, and it is a genocide. So we people need justice. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Razia, for presenting us the compelling evidence, of rape. Now I invite La Zhao, who is a medical doctor by training, and he's the chair of the European Rohingya Council based in the Netherlands. La Zhao.
Before I begin, first of all, I want to ask one question to all of you. This question is actually asked by the genocide survivors in the camps in Bangladesh, who would like to give a promise or commitment to do anything, to do at your best, to give Rohingya a hope until Rohingya will get peace in their homeland. Thank you so much, unanimous. Okay, first of all, I would like to thank all of the organizers of this amazing conference. This conference is very timely and shakes the genocide perpetrators. Just today, Myanmar is organizing a parallel counter-conference against this Berlin conference. And this shows how this Berlin conference is going to send a message to the perpetrators. Even this morning, the Myanmar military intelligence has launched some of their mad, crazy guys to distribute leaflets against this Berlin conference. So I want to, starting from beginning from this conference, I want to appeal to all the participants to continue to do anything that give Rohingya a hope for their life in peace and dignity. Just briefly, I want to tell a little bit of myself. When I was born, my father, like any Rohingya father, gives a Rohingya name. When I was admitted to the school, my parents chose a Burmese name, thinking that when the examiners see a Burmese name at the exam answer papers, they would give me the grade I deserve because my parents want me to be a doctor to serve our community. So we were discriminated in every aspect of our life, at market, at school, literally everywhere. So fortunately, I became a doctor in Myanmar in 2007. However, my dream didn't come true because I couldn't serve my community as I had to flee my country of birth in 2010 for the Netherlands. I could not even attend my father's funeral in 2007 because I was not allowed to travel to Rakhine State. So Myanmar's destruction of Rohingya is decades long. It becomes full-blown genocide from slow-burning genocide. Rohingya have been crying for years to be liberated from this genocide. However, international community has failed to answer the cries of the Rohingya. As all of you are aware, Myanmar has come up with its final stage of destructions of Rohingya since August 25th, 2017. I spent 2 months in refugee camps. At the end of last year, 2017, I gave medical treatment to hundreds of Rohingya children, rape victims, tortured victims, and gunshot victims. What you are seeing and reading are just tips of iceberg. There are a lot. As of today, Myanmar has expelled 90% of Rohingya from our ancestral homeland, killed members of our community, used systematic rapes by command against Rohingya women as a weapon of war, tortured in many cases to death, members of our community physically and mentally, and deliberately in a calculated manner has created a situation where our community can no longer survive, and deliberately in a very systematic way created a conditions of life to bring the complete destruction of existence of our whole community physically, mentally, culturally, and religiously, and impose ban on taking children. So all of these are, Myanmar has done all of these things against our community with an intent to destroy the whole Rohingya community. This is a textbook definition of genocide. Myanmar military has done beyond definition of genocide, as someone can imagine. So, international community has failed to protect Rohingya from Myanmar's genocide like it has failed in Rwanda and Bosnia. So it is time for international community, including German government, European government, at least to acknowledge what Myanmar has been doing against our people as genocide. Do everything necessary to create a UN-protected Rohingya homeland in our ancestral land where we have been living for generations if Myanmar government will not restore our ethnic and citizenship rights. We as a community lost faith in Myanmar government that it will ever give us our basic human rights, such as self-identification, citizenship, because Myanmar has again and again deceived our community and betrayed our community. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Now, our final speaker is Mr. Tun Khin. He's an engineer by training and is the president of Burmese Rohingya Organization of UK.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor to speak at this conference today. I would like to express many thanks to the organizers for this timely conference. I do not exist. That is what Burmese government says. 1.3 million who are in Burma, these people are not exist. That is what Burmese government says. I'm a Rohingya, born and brought up in Rakhine State, Buthidaung Township. My paternal grandfather was a member of parliament during democratic period time of Burma. My mother and my father, together with our brothers and sisters, they were fled in 1978 King Dragon operation. And they were repatriated back in 1978, December, and they resettled in Burma. I was born in 1980. Even though my grandfather was a member of parliament, my father served in government service, I was not recognized as a citizen of Burma. When I was in Burma, I faced restriction of movement. For example, from Berlin to, Berlin to any other town from here, if we need to go, we need to get a pass. Like Berlin to Frankfurt, like from Sittwe, from Buthidaung, if we want to go to Sittwe, I need to get a pass. That's what I face. Many of my friends sentenced to jail because they married secretly in Burma. Rohingyas, they need to get a pass when they get married. It takes like 2 to 3 years. You have to provide a big bribe to get this pass. They cannot wait for 2 to 3 years and then they married secretly. My friends who are in Buthidaung, they sentenced to jail 3 to 5 years. It's mentioned UN Special Rapporteur, former UN Special Rapporteur Thomas Container report in 2010 in Buthidaung jail, hundreds of Rohingyas been arrested because they married secretly without the permission. My father's own land been confiscated by the military, and they brought non-Rohingyas and all prisoners from upper side of Burma. They brought them. We Rohingya have to provide food and others for them. And myself, I couldn't go to the university even though I passed my matriculation in Burma. I'm lucky to be here today to speak on behalf of my own people. Like me, 1.3 million, they are not allowed to study. Thousands of Rohingya have been pending to go to the university. And we face anti-Rohingya campaign after President Tun Khin came to power in Burma. We were not allowed to go to hospital. My grandmother, she couldn't go to the hospital, and she was died in Butidau. It's been going on many years. We have seen this restriction of movement, marriage systematically, denying our existence, denying our identity, denying the right to have children, denying the right to have marriage, denying the right to have education, denying the right to have medical treatment. This has been continuing many years. What's happened, we have seen recently, is the mass killings to our brothers and sisters in Arkhan. Finally, we had only one thing. They had taken away everything, our rights. We had only our land, and they systematically pre-planned and they burned down all our Rohingya villages and they push us to Bangladesh. That is what's happening to our people. Intentionally, systematically, Burmese military and government, they are destroying our community, starting from a stripping of our ethnicity, a stripping of our citizenship, and denying medical treatment, denying right to have children, denying right to have medical treatment, denying our education. This is what we Rohingyas are facing in 21st century. I was in Bangladesh last 2 weeks ago. I met many victims of genocide. I was there also last 4 months ago. And mass raped, mass atrocities, mass slaughtered. One man from Tulatuli, he told me he has seen his daughter was raped, his son was slaughtered, his grandson was snatched from his mother and thrown to the fire. This is one story. Another story from Rathidan Township, when military entered the village, straight away they knifed to that 7-year-old boy. And that lady, she seen it. And then the military entered her house. She was raped for more than 20 minutes. And finally she managed to leave. She managed to free from home, and she joined with other villagers who are fleeing to Bangladesh. And that is how she arrived to Bangladesh. And it's been 6 months we've been hearing what's happened, mass killing, mass slaughter. And even last 2 weeks ago, when I was in Bangladesh, new victims of genocide, they told me they forced starvation, denying access to rice field, denying access for fishing. It's been continuously going on. So it is time, international community, we urge to stop this genocide. Whenever genocide happens, they say never again. And it's very disgusting. People are talking about repatriation, where as myself, I have met victims of genocide recently who are fleeing crossing the border. And they're talking about repatriation. There is repatriation, of course. Rohingya victims, they told me they want to return their homeland. That's why we urge US, UK, EU, Canada, Sweden, and Turkey, and other international bodies, we want protected return to our protected homeland in Myanmar. So I would like to request all of my friends here, please do your best to stop this genocide, and we want to return to protected homeland in Burma. We are a part of society. We've been contributed for our country. We are not demanding for any separate state. We want to be a part of Burma. We want to live with peace, dignity, and security in Burma, protected homeland in Myanmar. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Tun Khin, for the very powerful statement. Floor is now open. Please direct the question to any individual that you wish to, and please be very brief. Yes.
I'm going to go around. Sure.
And introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is Matthew Ginden. I'm a journalist. I'm a descendant of Jewish Holocaust survivors, and one thing that was important for us were always the stories of the few people who had protected Jews. So obviously we're here mostly to confront the evils that are being perpetrated in Myanmar, but I wanted to ask you as Rohingya if you have heard any stories of people in Rakhine State attempting to shelter or protect the Rohingya who are being attacked. Even on an individual level, someone giving shelter in a home, somebody attempting to hide, to secret away, anything of that kind.
Thank you for your presentations. My question requires a yes or no answer. I have been to the Karen area, the Kachin area. Don't ask me how I got in there, but I did. I've been there many times. And we stand here on this sacred ground to honor the memory of those who perished in the genocides of about the time I was born. Knowing what we know now, would you be in favor of taking those responsible for the atrocities in Burma to the International Criminal Court? Yes or no?
I think there was someone at the back.
Anyone? Please say your name and.
Hello, I'm Rado Yelwin. I study electrical technology in Hamburg.
Take it closer, please.
Okay, sorry. Did you hear?
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Yelwin, Rado Yelwin. I would like to ask what is the difference meaning of the Rohingya and Rakhine, and since when exists this name Rohingya?
Okay, thank you. Yes, please.
Okay, me again. I have, not a question, a remark to Roni. Considering what Professor Schulze said about definition of genocide, definition of the Holocaust, about the structure of oppression, you talked about concentration camps in Arakan. I'm a member of the perpetrator nation. I'm very, very unhappy if you say that. Please give me description, definition of where are these camps, what is being done in them. I have studied German history. I know what a concentration camp looks like. So please don't use that term. Harrowing as the experience of the Rohingya is. I don't deny that, but please keep to precise descriptions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to close the floor to the questions because we are really running out of it. So I'm going to give that back to the.
I will only answer to the.
Whatever. I mean, we just start from that side.
Yeah.
Answer the one that you wish to.
Hello? Yeah. I will answer to, your name is Yelwin, all right? Yeah, I am not on behalf of Rakhine here. I am on behalf of Rohingya here. I will answer you about the Rohingya, the term Rohingya, okay? In Myanmar, now 1982 citizenship law is existing. We have to be the citizen according to the 1982 citizenship law.
Please don't debate. Just let him finish, please. We don't have the time to engage. Let him finish, then we move on to the tea.
Before 1982 citizenship law, we had the full citizenship. My great-grandfather, when he applied for the citizenship in 1949, the Minister for the Justice responded him that he doesn't need to apply the citizenship because he belonged to one of the indigenous ethnic group of Burma. And also, Rohingya was officially recognized during the democracy government after the independence of Burma. And according to the 1982 citizenship law, That group has to be in the country before 1823. We have the primary source evidence that we were in Arakan state since before 1823. According to the Francis Buchanan record, the people who are living...
Can you please, you have to speak with my permission, and I'm denying you the permission right now, since we are running. Please just be seated. Please be seated.
I am responding you the meaning of the Rohingya. You call yourself Yelwe, I call myself Nesalwe, okay? We are the Rohingya, we are the group of people, we call ourselves Rohingya. Do you have any problem with that? I have no problem with that you call yourself Burma, or you call yourself Yelwe.
Thank you very much. Please ignore him. We move on to...
I am explaining you very politely, okay? We have the primary source evidence that we were in Arakan state since before 1823, okay? The question, what you are intending to ask me, I know that you are claiming that this Rohingya is belong to Rakhine. That is the lie, you know. Francis Buchanan clearly mentioned that the people who are living in Arakan, the people, the Mohammedan mean Muslim. They are not the Buddhists. This is very clear.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Would you like to respond to any of the points made?
The questions you raised, any community, other community who protected secretly Rohingya, or as far as we know, there could be some individuals, just for the sake of the friendship or close relationship, who are willing to give protection, but unfortunately it cannot be happened, because if someone try to sell rice or try to give protection, he is denigrated in front of other communities, so it cannot be happen there. And regarding concentration camps, it doesn't actually concentrate. What we mean concentration camps, the concentration camps doesn't necessarily have to be same what has happened in, and it is 25. It is. This is If you yes.
No, they are not. Then that will be another grave mistake as well.
Okay.
You know, so point is well taken.
Yeah,
I think we have to be careful.
This is okay. Thank you.
I think the Rohingya and Rakhine, I don't know. I think here we have quite evidence here already. In here, he can follow up with this, and we are. It's a Myanmar Switzerland Sabi Bime Yopia Buhututa Bank is already mentioned here, and I think you should know also about Burma radio broadcasting program have 3 times a week from 1961 to 1965 Rohingya language was broadcasted. So we need to look at, as you are Burmese, you know, you must see it's a General Lewin when he came to the power, he stripped up our program, and that is how the problem he created. It is need to know we cannot pull trap on anti-Rohingya campaign. This is what's important. We are such a 21st century, we are in a Western country here, we need to see what are the real facts, no matter what. There is a lot of evidence, international, documentary and international experts have already mentioned. So Rohingyas and Rakhine, they live, Rohingyas, Muslim, Rakhine, Buddhists. These people are 2 indigenous groups in Rakhine state living. But during Arakan King, Rohingya been administration, the Rohingya took part. So we need to look at, I'm not a historian, but we need to look at that. In the past, Arakan is before Rakhine, even Rakhine state was given by Newing. We need to look at that. Rakhine state recognized 1975, December 15, I think. We need to look at that. So simply, we can't look at what, manufactured by 4 decades by Burmese military. This is what we must understand from Burma as a Burmese.
Sure, great. I think that's a good point. Razi, would like to, is any point that you'd like to make? Okay, then I think we bring an end to this very apt beginning of this conference, that Rohingya, their own voices they have presented before us, also the testimonies of the survivors. I think this is the apt beginning.